The 1982 Bahamas Grand Prix takes place on the 4th and 5th of December in Nassau on New Providence Island, which is the capital of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Over a two-day period, the world's best circuit powerboat drivers from both America and Europe will compete for the transatlantic Champion of Champions race, as well as the final round of the American NPA Formula One Series. The Ambassador Beach Hotel is the race headquarters for the 1982 Bahamas Grand Prix. The drivers have flown in from all over the world, but for the boats it's a different matter. Indeed, the boats from Europe were loaded in Southampton. Some 1 month ago they journeyed down to Miami in Florida. From there they were reloaded onto this barge, which took some 24 hours being towed behind this tug to arrive in the harbour here at Nassau. As you can see, the chop there on the water, even in the harbour, may well present some problems for these very fast boats, which average something like 110 miles an hour. Circuit powerboat racing can best be described as Formula One racing, but on water. In circuit powerboat racing, however, there are no brakes, and one must drive the boats over an ever-changing water pattern. The boats race on a short 1¼ mile or 2 mile circuit, either sprint or marathon events. There are several classes of boats that make up the outboard crafts in circuit racing. The classes are determined by engine capacity, hull dimension and type of boats, that is, catamaran or V-hull. The main event, which is the Transatlantic Champion of Champions, is for the ON class. The ON class itself denotes an engine size of 120 cubic inches or a maximum of 2 litres. These boats are the international class of champ boats, and the American drivers will be able to race against their European colleagues in the Transatlantic Champion of Champions race during the Bacardi-run Bahamas Grand Prix. The winner of this race will surely be one of the finest drivers in the world today. The second main race in this Grand Prix meeting is the American NPA Formula One race. This is for what the Americans call champ boat racing. The champ boats, the Formula One class, are single-seater plywood catamarans weighing about 300 pounds and are 18 foot long. They are powered by either a 120 cubic inch Mercury or Mariner outboard, as in the ON class, or a 150 cubic inch Johnson or Evinrude outboard, putting out about 300 horsepower. They are fueled by aviation gas or the highest octane available, and are capable of reaching speeds in excess of 130 miles an hour. These crafts accelerate from 0 to 100 miles an hour in 4 seconds and can corner through a 180-degree turn at speeds of over 100 miles an hour. The art of driving is to race flat to the water on a cushion of air with as much of the boat out of the water as possible. This is called prop riding, since only the propeller is left in the water and the boat is actually flying. Supporting the ON and Champ boat races are modified VP racing, Formula 2 and Sport E racing. We will take a short look at the Formula 2 race and the modified VP with some very spectacular scenes indeed. One of the favourites for the Transatlantic Champion of Champions race must be Ken Stevenson with his Seabold designed hull. Indeed, Billy Seabold also another favourite for this race. The race itself will be held over 3 heats, each over a 20-lap distance of a 1¼ mile circuit. Points are awarded from 1st to 20th, with 400 points for the winner. The driver then who has amassed the most points from the 4 heats will be deemed the Transatlantic Champion. Here in Nassau, we asked the Minister of Tourism, the Honourable Perry Christie, what he thought of this Bahamas Grand Prix.
Well, I'm very excited about it. I came into the Ministry of Tourism in June of this year, and one of the very firm views I brought with me was to establish the Bahamas as a sporting destination. That has tremendous touristic implications. Now, I think the background is that we have about 1.8 to 1.9 million tourists per year that come to the Bahamas. Some 2/3 of the people of this country either directly or indirectly earn their living from tourism. And so anything we can do to add to that number, and I believe this kind of event adds to that number. People who come in for coverage, promote the Bahamas abroad, the racers who come in, who race all over the world, they talk about the Bahamas. People who come to watch the races, they come in and they see the beauty of the Bahamas, and in fact, they come back. The second significant point is that we're having the races in a very beautiful part of the Bahamas. And lest you think we're talking about one country, one island, the Bahamas sort of begins some 50 miles off the coast of Florida and ends some 50 miles off the coast of Cuba. So this could be duplicated in any one of 700 islands, so to speak, but any one of most certainly 20 main islands, this particular event. We're having it here in the capital. It's centered in a historic spot because to the south we see old forts, in fact, which protected this island from marauders in the past, pirates. We have the British Colonial Hotel, one of the oldest hotels in the Commonwealth. Its architecture, its charm, and we have a very beautiful shoreline here. So all in all, we're hoping that this is one in a number of events that we have here in the Bahamas that result in people coming here to participate and compete against each other and other people coming in to watch them. That will add to, really and truly, the way of life of the Bahamian.
To declare this first annual...
And so the 1982 Bacardi Bahamas Grand Prix is declared open by the Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Affairs, the Honourable Kendall Nottage. This is the race site right in the middle of the harbour here in Nassau. The unusually blustery conditions are going to cause some problems for the competitors. But we asked the Minister for his thoughts on the event itself.
We're looking forward to the powerboat races. It's something new for us here in the Bahamas, and hopefully we could encourage it to continue on an annual basis. Now, sports is a priority for the Bahamian government. Development of sports, because we have a very large population of young people. 65% of our population is under the age of 30. So we have a very, very large population of young people. And so the promotion of sports is very, very important. And so powerboat racing is one of those areas that's adaptable for the Bahamas because we have such great water country. And so with all the crystal waters we have here and the beautiful sunshine, it's a natural for water sports. So we want to encourage this kind of thing, and very happy to be the host country.
With the Royal Bahamas Police Force Band performing, the competitors put their final touches to their boats before racing commences. Conditions very warm indeed, temperatures in the low 80s, but the wind is still keeping up, the wind speed in excess of some 25 knots, so it's going to be very difficult conditions for all of the competitors. Indeed, for the Saturday races, the course has been shortened to run up and down the beach here. In the region of 10 to 15,000 spectators appear on the Saturday, but many more in this opening event for the Grand Prix meeting here by Tommy Droz. And so now we move on to Heat 1 of the prestigious Transatlantic Champion of Champions race. Because of the high winds and the late start of this heat, all the heats are being reduced from 20 laps to 15 laps. Remember, it is a shortened course. Straight into the lead looks to be Nick Cripps with the Bacardi rum boat. Next to him is Mark Wilson, also making a very good start. On the outside is Lee Sutter. The first three boats side by side into the first turn. The first three very close indeed. Sutter getting the edge on that turn. Mark Wilson side by side. Cripps dropping back, but Ken Stevenson coming up with number 201. And what a sight they make as 25 catamarans head towards our camera position here at speeds in excess of 125 miles an hour. Lee Sutter goes into the lead. In second place now is Ken Stevenson, who's taken Mark Wilson round the outside. Through he goes now into second place, that's 201, and the rest of the field coming through in a blinding spray. Someone's retired, that's Michael Werner, the world champion, but into the lead now still Lee Sutter. Lee Sutter, number 82, with that Seabold Howl, and right behind him now, challenging him all the while, Ken Stevenson. A battle between these two. They head down the back straight, and someone has collected one of the markers, that's number 254. Chuck McKay there collecting the buoy, now letting it go again, but that's going to cause a few problems because the boats are not going to know where to turn on the far buoy. But now side by side and into the lead goes 201 Ken Stevenson, and from that scene, the low-down scene, you can get a very good idea of the speed of these boats. Still side by side, Lee Sutter fighting back. Ken Stevenson, though, has got away into the lead, as Nicky Cripps, who was very high up in the opening stages of the race, dropping back all the while. He seems to have some form of problem, we know not what. And no, it's Lee Sutter who's back into the lead, but challenging him once again, coming down here, and they've taken away one of the boys, so it's going to be a bit difficult to see for the drivers. And 201 Ken Stevenson powers his way back into the lead from Lee Sutter. Ben Robertson comes down into the far end towards one of the boys, holding it very tight and hits the second boy now. So it's going to be very difficult to carry on this race because there are no boys left at the far turn. So goodness knows how the boats are going to turn round. And their 577 will certainly be disqualified from the event. And the red flag there being shown to Ken Stevenson to stop the race. The race will have to be rerun as it ran for less than half distance, and under the NPA rules, if you run for less than half the distance, i.e. 7.5 laps, the race will be declared null and void. There, Johnny Saunders has got a problem with his boat, a hole in the side of his sponson, but that will not stop him from taking part in the restart of Heat 1 for the Transatlantic Champion of Champions race. And away they go down the crowded shoreline. Getting away would seem to be Ken Stevenson's got a good start, but so once again has Lee Sutter, who goes straight into the lead with number 82. Ken Stevenson right behind him, Johnny Saunders also not far away. They head down the back straight, and once again with the backdrop of the cruise ships, what a splendid sight. And there is Nicky Cripps, and Nicky Cripps overtaking Ken Saunders for second place. Still Lee Sutter in the lead, but the Bacardi Rum boat going very well indeed, side by side with Ken Stevenson there. Nick Cripps goes through, Ken Stevenson trying to maintain third place, still Lee Sutter in the lead. Sutter going round the shortened course, the boys back in line there, still in second place Nick Cripps, in third place Ken Stevenson, very tight between first, second and third. Battles all the way down through the field still in very close contention, as you can see. And it is still Lee Sutter in the lead, and Ken Stevenson edges past into second place and almost cuts Nick Cripps up going around there. Close racing here indeed. Sutter still leading, Stevenson now in second place, Cripps in third place. The light now fading, the boats racing along the beach. Crowded spectators. We still have the race leader, Lee Sutter, but 201, Ken Stevenson, coming up not far behind him now. In third place, still Nick Cripps. Fourth place, Johnny Saunders. And Lee Sutter there in the lead, but the ever-present Ken Stevenson. Billy Seabold, a man who might be regarded as one of the favourites to win the Transatlantic Series, some way down, round about sixth place, but there's our race leader, number 82. Mark Wilson there in fifth place, in sixth place John Hill. There in eighth place is Art Kennedy. Fiona Brothers at the moment lying in 12th place. And a big battle there between Mark Wilson. There's John Hill. Art Kennedy closing in on him all the time. Not far behind Art Kennedy is Peter Inwood. So the Europeans doing well in this first race in the Transatlantic Challenge, but side by side there. And Ken Stevenson goes through to take the lead. And look at that speed that man has got. So we have a new race leader, Ken Stevenson, in number 201, but Lee Sutter takes a wide line round there. Nick Cripps dropping back now to fifth place in 343. Sixth place, John Hill, side by side with Mark Wilson, who's now literally in seventh place, goes up into sixth place. Peter Inwood is in eighth place, number 13, coming up through the field, getting used to these very rough waters. And there the 1982 world champion Michael Werner in 417. He retires from this heat. Here's Billy Seabold. Seabold knowing it's all important to get into the top 6 positions to get the maximum points from this first heat. He's going to have his work cut out. He made a slow start. Obviously has some form of engine problems. Seabold arguably the most successful inshore powerboat racer of the decade. Seabold has now gone up into 5th place, 6th place is Nicky Cripps, in 7th place now Malcolm Wilson. There, number 13, also going very well indeed, and that of course is Peter Inwood. 417 being towed out of harm's way from these boats that are almost going all the way around him, as through comes the race leader 201, Ken Stevenson, going through, lapping Peter Inwood. Billy Seabold now goes up into 5th place. Valuable points for him. as the race leader, still number 201. Lee Sutter still in second place, number 82. Taking quite a wide line around there. Once again, Billy Siebold trying to edge closer to Art Kennedy. At the moment, he's about 6 seconds behind Art Kennedy, whilst Ken Stevenson, our race leader, is here winning the event by some 14 seconds from Lee Sutter, who is second, Johnny Sanders, who is third, Art Kennedy will be fourth, Billy Siebold fifth, Mark Wilson sixth, John Hill seventh, and Peter Inwood eighth. 3-4-3, that's Nicky Cripps, finishes in ninth place. So victory then in the fading light to number 201, who takes 400 points. And that will be the only heat run on the 4th of December here on the Saturday, because the light fading, as you can see, and we go into Sunday, the 5th of December, where we see Heat 2 of the Transatlantic Champion of Champions race, and this time it's to be held over the full course because the weather has calmed a little bit, still quite rough conditions, and what a start Peter Inwood has made, coming through on the far side, looks to be in the lead, but once again John Hill also making a good start, but Lee Sutter in number 82 has gone into the lead of this second heat, which is still over 15 laps, but over the full 1¼ mile circuit. On the shortened course yesterday, the average speed was 106 miles an hour for Ken Stevenson. Can they go quicker here in Heat 2? They come down towards our camera, flying high there, Lee Sutter. Still very difficult conditions, a lot more wind than the drivers would like, but Lee Sutter there lifting right out of the water. In second place, Art Kennedy has gone through. Ken Stevenson looks to be quite a way down the field. They come towards our third camera position, camera 3. It's still Lee Sutter leading, but Billy Siebold is coming up into second place, taking second place off Johnny Hill. John Hill there, now moving back to fourth place. Art Kennedy in third place, and Billy Siebold takes a very tight turn around the buoy and looks to go into the lead. And look at Siebold fly. Quite incredible scenes here as they come down, and you can see right through the sponsons of Billy Siebold's number 190, who's taken the lead, where it's Kent Stevenson, the man who won Heat 1. Siebold there going into quite a commanding lead, it would seem. There is Lee Sutter, and there on the outside of John Hill looks to be number 203, that's Johnny Sanders, who finished third in the first heat. Leading then Billy Siebold, in second place to Lee Sutter. Third place looks to be Art Kennedy. Sutter there going through in second place. Art Kennedy in third place. Fourth place, John Hill. Fifth place is Johnny Sanders, and there down in ninth place at the moment is Ken Stevenson. Number 7, that's Fiona Brothers, who finished 12th in the first heat, going quite well in the second heat, round about 15th position. And Billy Siebold bouncing high out of the water, maintaining his lead. There is Art Kennedy. And you can see the drivers really being thrown about in these boats. The boat's still doing in the region of 90 to 100 miles an hour. 547, that's Ted Jones. Ted Jones up into 8th place at the moment. Once again, Fiona Brothers going through, up now 1 place into 14th place as Johnny Sanders goes past the leading European John Hill. But now into second place is Art Kennedy. Lee Sutter has moved back into third place. Fourth place will be Johnny Sanders. In fifth place is John Hill. Sixth place will be Ken Stevenson, who's challenging John Hill around the outside this marker in these very rough conditions. The water really being churned up by these boats, by the props of the boats. Lee Sutter there in third place. Through comes Lee Sutter, still in that third place, behind Billy Siebold and Art Kennedy. Johnny Sanders challenging him for that placing there in number 203. Stevenson behind his teammate. Important that Stevenson gets up towards the front because Billy Siebold is leading this event at the moment. There through goes Lee Sutter, and look at these sort of conditions. Through goes Phil Duggan, another of the British drivers here. Duggan going well with his Pentax sponsored boat, and they're going around the outside lapping one of these slower boats, our race leader 190. Difficult to see these boats in the haze of spray that's coming off the water, not only whipped up by the props from the boats, but also by the very high winds, still around 20 knots today. 201 now making a mark on the race. Ken Stevenson coming up. He's taken John Hill, as we said. There is John Hill. And also coming through 547, Ted Jones. Ted Jones at the moment in 9th place with the Bacardi boat. And there is Billy Seabold about to lap Fiona Brothers. Seabold taking a wide line, trying to make it as smooth as possible for himself. Seabold well in the lead at the moment. Something like 6 seconds in the lead. We turn our attention to the battle for the leading European positions. 6th and 7th place, John Hill just leading Peter Inwood. Hill with the McEwen Lagers advertising on the side of his boat. Peter Inwood with the sponsorship there from Tissot. Billy Seabold trying to make a smooth passage, still in the lead, but the battle looks to be really on for second place. There is Art Kennedy still in second place, number 2. In third place now, number 201. He's taken third place from Lee Sutter, and Phil Duggan's lost half of his bodywork at the moment. But having a big battle there with Ted Jones, still the race leader, but Ken Stevenson, the man who won Heat 1, up now into third place, challenging Art Kennedy the whole time. There's Kennedy, there's Lee Sutter now in 4th place. There, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, very close indeed, and trying to take 2nd place from Art Kennedy. Through goes number 201, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, very close together. And 3rd place now taken by Lee Sutter, Art Kennedy dropping down into 4th place. Johnny Sanders coming up, and there is part of Phil Duggan's bodywork. That could cause quite a few problems for the drivers. Duggan there being thrown about, but still going side by side with Ted Jones. They're battling for 8th and 9th place, but they're battling as if their lives depended on it. Round one of the markers. And we wait there. There in 2nd place now is Ken Stevenson. 3rd place Lee Sutter. 4th place Art Kennedy. Through the mist comes Billy Seabold, the race leader. Still 6 seconds ahead of 201 now. Ken Stevenson in 2nd place. He would pick up 300 points if he finishes in 2nd place. Lee Sutter still very close to him, as is Art Kennedy. Billy Seabold going around the outside of John Hill and really flying well clear of the water. Lapping Nick Cripps. Nick Cripps, some form of engine problems right the way down the field in 15th place. There then in 2nd place, 201, Ken Stevenson. And so the checkered flag comes out. Billy Seabold wins by 6 seconds, averaging just over 100 miles an hour. In 2nd place, Ken Stevenson. 3rd place, Lee Sutter. 4th place, Art Kennedy. 5th place, Johnny Sanders. And in 6th place, the leading European, Peter Inwood. And so with one race of the Transatlantic Challenge to go, 3 men can win the prestigious title. Ken Stevenson has 700 points. In 2nd place, Billy Seabold with 527. And in 3rd place, Lee Sutter with 525. But despite all the noise and action taking place in the harbour, back in the paddock, the 25 entrants for the Transatlantic Challenge, working hard to make quite sure that everything is in order for that all-important final heat. Billy Seabold must win this race. All Ken Stevenson has to do is to finish in 2nd place. But that's what 23 other competitors want to do. But John Hill doesn't seem to be too worried about anything. He's probably drunk too much McEwen's lager. But we now move on to some action from the Chris, who wins the Sport E and the modified VP finals. And so we move now on to the final heat of the Transatlantic Challenge. $16,500 awaiting the winners of this event. The boat's being launched. 25 boats will once again start. And someone obviously has discarded their engine, but the crowd that has really grown in size, estimated now at something like 30,000 people all the way around the course, enjoying powerboat racing at its very best here in the Bahamas. Enjoying it in many different ways. The Bahamians, very happy people indeed, and I think enjoying immensely this kind of water sport. The Bahamian flag being held up, Billy Seabold, Ken Stevenson or Lee Sutter, who will it be? The flag is waved and away they go, 25 boats, very fast indeed. It looks as if Vic Blackie and Peter Inwood have made excellent starts, as has Billy Seabold. Mark Wilson and Nick Cripps, everybody gets away to a clean start. They come down towards the turn by the British Colonial Hotel, and it's Billy Seabold who goes straight into the lead. Round the buoy he goes. That looks to be Stevenson in second place, but Peter Inwood well up there in third place. Side by side, down the back straight they come, past those impressive liners and the tall ship. Seabold just leading from his arch rival, Ken Stevenson, who's on the outside. Can he get a quicker line around the buoy? Round they go, literally side by side. It's Seabold just leading. 201 Stevenson shooting by, though, into the lead now. But it's still side by side, Seabold and Stevenson going round the corner, absolutely neck and neck as they come down towards us. Both boats bouncing high out the water. Seabold goes through into the lead. Peter Inwood really fighting there in third place. Inwood certainly the leading European, and in fact it looks as if Peter's got into second place. Side by side he is with Stevenson. Stevenson snatches second place back. Stevenson knowing that he must finish in second place to win the Transatlantic Challenge. Seabold, though, out in the lead. But Peter Inwood challenging all the while in second place. He's up into second place, past Ken Stevenson. Those two having a terrific scrap. And look at Seabold go. Tight into second place goes Peter Inwood, number 13, who made such an excellent start. Mark Wilson, Lee Sutter, John Daniels, Nick Cripps, John Hill, Fiona Brothers also very well up in this event. Through goes Seabold. Second place now, Peter Inwood, and Inwood is closing on Billy Seabold. So Seabold, Peter Inwood, Stevenson, first, second and third, and Stevenson challenging, I think, round the outside. Will he cross to the inside? No, still first, second and third. The same, Lee Sutter is in fourth place. It's Seabold leading, and side by side, down the back straight they come. And look at this, and Stevenson edging past on the outside. Can he make it through the corner? They turn very tightly through the corner, left on this sort of triangular course. Still Inwood in second place. Lee Sutter, fourth, and their fifth is John Hill. And retirement there, number 254. But our eyes are turned to Ken Stevenson, who's taken second place off Inwood. No, he hasn't. Inwood's fought back. Stevenson in second place, Inwood in third place, but Inwood going a little bit wide there through our camera position. Nick Cripps having a battle with Art Kennedy. Kennedy coming up on the inside. That's Paul Gastad from Sweden on the outside. He's being lapped. Number 2, I think, will take the turn on the inside, takes a hard turn left. Through that 270-degree turn he goes. But still, look at this battle for second place behind Billy Seabold. Stevenson it is, I think, just in second. Inwood right behind him. Takes a tight line there. 201 Stevenson in second place. That's all he has to do to win the Transatlantic Challenge. But Seabold, remember, must try and stay ahead all the time. John Hill has gone through our pictures. There's Fiona Brothers. Fiona in 11th place at the moment. This is the first time that Fiona has raced on salt water. She's normally used to racing on lakes. She goes away as we see number 82, Lee Sutter. Lee Sutter trying to get into third place. And there is Art Kennedy. Art Kennedy at the moment running in 9th place, some way down. And once again, Fiona Brothers taking Paul Gastad. And you get an idea, there's beautiful clear waters here in the Bahamas. You can see the coral just underneath. And Billy Seabold leads, and look at him around the turn. The traction of these boats on the water is quite incredible. And what a sight these boats make. Seabold leading, Stevenson in second place, Inwood now in third place, Mark Wilson is in fourth place, Lee Sutter is in fifth place. Sixth place is John Daniels, seventh place, 547 now, Ted Jones. He's going well, but he didn't compete in the first heat. Nick Cripps having a battle with Ian Backey from Norway. As you can see, the drivers coming from all over the world to compete in the Bacardi Rum Bahamas Grand Prix. And Seabold there taking a wide line, staying right out of trouble. But look at the yaw almost that boat has. It's sliding to us as if it was a crab. Second there, 201, Ken Stevenson. If he can finish in that place, he'll win the Challenge Championship. Lee Sutter has come up into fourth place, ahead of Mark Wilson, but still behind Peter Inwood. So Sutter now making his presence felt. Through comes our leader, Billy Seabold, the 1981 World Champion and the 1982 National Champion in America. In second place, 2:01, Ken Stevenson. Ken now some 6 seconds behind Siebold, but it is to be Billy Siebold who is to win the third heat of the Transatlantic Champion of Champions. But in second place and winner of the series outright will be 2:01, this man, Ken Stevenson. So the winner of this heat, Billy Siebold, second, Ken Stevenson, third, Lee Sutter, fourth, Peter Inwood, fifth, Mark Wilson, sixth, John Saunders. And so the 1982 Transatlantic Champion is Ken Stevenson, who wins with 1,000 points. Second place is Billy Siebold with 927. We asked Ken what he thought of his victory here in Nassau.
I feel great considering I got across the water in one piece. This is probably some of the roughest water I've ever been over. The first day wasn't too bad. The second day today was terrible.
Now, it looked tremendously exciting out there, especially when you came down the back straight a few times with Billy Siebold. What is it like to drive one of these things at, well, averaging well over 110 miles an hour?
Well, it's kind of hard to describe, really. I think the thing to do is you'll have to go for a ride in a two-seater to really find out. But it's like trying to fly an airplane about an inch above the water. And it's not that difficult, but it does take some time to develop the skill.
Finally, what's it like then to have won here this amazing race, which is really regarded by many as almost a world championships, because for the first time we've got the Americans versus the Europeans.
The biggest and the best are here, and to come out number one is really something.
Ken, thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
With 2 heat wins and 1 fifth place from the first heat, Billy Siebold finishes second. We asked him to explain to us what it was like flying across the water as he does.
Well, actually, in a tunnel boat of this type, 850-pound boat that is capable of running 135 to 140 miles an hour, you actually do try to fly it. Of course, in this type of water, it's hard to get the propeller to carry the boat completely clean of the water, and you know, when you get the swells off the tugboats and everything, it's very difficult in this water. This is probably the most difficult water to drive in because you got swells coming from different directions and a constant chop too that you have to read. And of course, the high winds today, you have to kind of read the wind currents on the water also.
The champ boat, the endurance race comes up now. Is that going to be as exciting?
That will definitely be as exciting because the way the water conditions are right now, there's no way that anyone can go out and run his equipment flat out for 50 laps because the gear cases are taking a terrible pounding today. The engines are probably turning up to about 10 grand and then they re-enter the water, and that's a lot of load on the gears.
Billy Siebold, thank you. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next race.
Thank you very much.
And what was a woman doing in a male-orientated sport? We asked Fiona Brothers.
Having a good time and showing them that women can race as well as the men.
Do they ever give you any problems? Are they much more polite considering you're a woman?
They don't give me any special treatment once you're out on the water because when you've got your helmet on, people tend to forget who's in the boat anyway. They treat each boat separately.
Sponsorship easier to find because you're a woman?
I must be honest, it is easier for me, but a lot of the drivers underestimate the potential they have as powerboat drivers because you really put your life on the line out there, and there's a lot of publicity that can be gained from a sport as exciting as this.
One of the leading European contenders and finishing an excellent 7th place overall and 4th in that last heat was Peter Inwood. What did he think of the event?
Well, I must admit that it's been one of the most exciting races that I've ever participated in. It is, in fact, the first time in the history of circuit powerboat racing that we've had such an incredible field of drivers, both from Europe and from America. I think there's barely one driver who's not here in the top 20 in the world. And although we see the drivers from America coming to Europe and ourselves to America, up until this is the first event where we've been able to bring our own rigs, our own boats. We've always borrowed other people's equipment, which is at a slight disadvantage because no man's going to lend his second boat if it's competitive. And so Nicky Cripps, who's the organizer of this race, and Bacardi have very kindly brought the Europeans, 10 of us, and all our own rigs been transported across the Atlantic. They were shipped out of Southampton about a month ago, and we are at least fairly competitive now. I must confess that some of the Americans are just a little bit better than us, but the Americans, of course, make the engines which we have to use in Europe, so perhaps we're at a disadvantage.
The final event of the Grand Prix meeting is the champ boat race, the final round of the NPA series. This race will be over some 50 laps as a mandatory fuel stop, and indeed there are going to be 29 boats starting this race. Because of the fading light conditions, the organisers have decided to do away with the qualifying heats, which would have whittled those 29 starters down to 25. So they're going to be a full complement of an amazing 29 of these boats going for the champ boat race. The Europeans hope to do well here. Peter Inwood in number 13, and of course number 21 boat Tony Williams, who is the reigning Fonda World Series champion and who also holds the world speed record at 137.96 miles an hour for these types of boats. 29 boats will start. The Bahamian flag is up, and they're away in 9,000 brake horsepower of engines there, churning up the waters here in Nassau Harbour. They go away for the start of this endurance race. And they're getting away to an excellent start is Mark Wilson and Peter Inwood. Johnny Sanders and his teammate Ken Stevenson also going well, as is Billy Seabold. Steve Allison, the yellow boat, also well up there in the Myers Rum boat. And there's some 29 boats going around this corner in every which way. They'll come down the back straight towards us. And I think it's the two orange boats, the two Arcadian boats, in the lead. Johnny Sanders and Ken Stevenson side by side. Sanders taking the lead, but only just. Stevenson taking a look to the outside. Will he try the inside? Look how sharply they turn around, the boys. Speeds over 100 miles an hour. In third place is Backy, fourth place is Inwood, fifth place is Allison. The rest of the field going through. Through goes Fiona Brothers, well up, around about 10th place. We change back to the leaders, and it is still the two orange boats leading, first and second. It's Sanders leading, but only just from his teammate, as another flying boat literally leaves at the moment. We turn our attentions back to the race. It's Sanders leading from his teammate challenging on the outside. They're side by side into the corner. It's Stevenson from Sanders. It's Stevenson in second place, the man who is the transatlantic champion in 1982. And just look at this water churning up. 29 boats, the world's fastest inshore powerboats here for the Bahamas Grand Prix. Is into the lead goes Ken Stevenson, although his teammate has probably taken a tighter line into the corner. Ken Handel there, 575, one of the promoters, one of the stockholders of the NPA. He goes through. Ken running in around about 12th place, and almost out of shape there, Steve Allison with the Myers Rum boat. He's going to have to be very careful. The wind's still fairly up on here, about 20 knots wind we have so far, and a battle coming down here for 6th place between John Mesh and Nick Cripps, side by side. John Mesh showing very well in this marathon race. Remember, they've got to make one mandatory pit stop, but look at this battle for the lead. 2:01, Ken Stevenson now into the lead. In second place is teammate, but third place is Seabold now. Seabold coming up into third place. In fourth place looks to be number 8, Ian Backy. In fifth place is Inwood. In sixth place is Art Kennedy. Seventh place is Allison. Eighth place is Mark Wilson. Ninth place now is Mesh. And 10th place is Lee Sutter. The first 10 going through. And look, first, second, and third very close together now. The two Arcadian boats being challenged by Billy Seabold. They're side by side. It's Stevenson only just from Sanders. What an incredible race. And look at that cornering speed of Billy Seabold, who's catching up all the while in third place. Still the two orange boats, first and second. But no, on the far side, Seabold trying to take the lead. Seabold on the inside. These two arch rivals once again battling it out for the lead. It's Billy Seabold from Ken Stevenson. And there they are, first, second and third, almost tied together side by side. Who will it be round there? And Stevenson, it is Seabold trying to take the inside line. On the outside line, it was Sanders, and there is Seabold going through the middle. Incredible racing here. Fiona Brothers also doing very well, up into 10th place. And there's an accident there, a big one there. Steve Allison, who was in 5th place, he's out of the boat, he's been thrown clear, but all the boats are going around him, he has no protection. Allison in great danger there, because it's very difficult to see the driver, very difficult indeed. He's been thrown completely clear of that boat. The race will certainly have to be stopped, surely. This is a very dangerous situation indeed. Allison, his life certainly in danger there. He's almost out of view of the spectator boats that there are around here, but through comes one of the rescue boats to protect him from the oncoming boats. And there's someone getting very close to him. Seabold, meanwhile, has taken the lead, and they're still racing on the far side of the circuit, although nobody in theory is allowed to overtake. Seabold in the lead, and the light is fading. They're going to certainly have to stop this race. And yes, there is the red flag. The red flag is out, and of course this will not count as a race, as it was run for less than 25 of the scheduled 50-lap marathon. And Steve Allison being taken onto the Red Cross boats. The rescue boats all around him. The red flag has been shown, rightly so. And so we have a restart, and the restart is only going to be over a 20-lap race, so just 20 laps for this final champ boat race. And so with the sun setting over the New Providence Island here, and the dusk falls very quickly, just 20 laps for this final race here of this fantastic Bahamas Grand Prix. 28 boats will start this race, the light fading all the time, and away they go to a clean start. Once again, just under 9,000 brake horsepower, churning up the waters here, past the packed beaches. And look at the boats coming towards us in the dusk light. A phenomenal view of these boats. And once again, Peter Inwood makes an excellent start, as does Ian Backey from Norway, who goes into the lead from Ken Stevenson. And there, John Mesh also making a very good start. Lee Sutter well up there. Fiona Brothers also well up there, as is Peter Inwood and Tony Williams. They all head off down the back straight. And they fan out towards our camera. Ian Backey there in the lead, but he's being taken by John Mesh, number 186. On the outside looks to be, sure enough, that is Ken Stevenson, I think. Stevenson heading down the outside, the first three side by side, and Johnny Mesh takes the lead in number 186. But through into second place is that man, Ken Stevenson. Still John Mesh leading as they come down towards the Colonial Hotel turn. Through he comes, and Ian Backey there in third place from Norway. An excellent day before him here, of course, in the Bahamas. And we have a new race leader because Backey has gone back out into the lead. Once again, 186 though takes the lead, and Stevenson has changed into second place, Backey back into third place, Lee Sutter in fourth place. And just look at these boats crabbing towards our camera positions as Mesh and Stevenson fight it out. Side by side towards us they come, rooster tails there, and is still Mesh just leading, but Stevenson is trying to take the lead with 2:01. He does it, can he cut on the inside? Mesh trying once again, but I think it's Stevenson who has taken the lead. Stevenson once again leads this race, and Mesh goes wide there, very wide indeed, still in second place, but look at that catamaran fly. There is Mesh now in second place. It is in third place, Sutter, and in fourth place looks to be Ian Backey in fourth place, but he's being challenged by Ben Robertson, the man who was disqualified from the Transatlantic Champion of Champions. He's back, of course, in this race. 2:01 leads, though. Ken Stevenson leads as they go round the marker. The light fading all the time. John Mesh still in second place, behind Ken Stevenson, who is literally flying towards our camera position here, which is dug into the beach shoreline. Stevenson going out of our sight, the light fading all the time. Ian Backey having a big battle there with Nicky Cripps. There's Ken Huddle in 10th place, he's been lapped. That's his Seabold hull going through. And now in 6th place is Peter Inwood. Inwood in 6th place, but trying to catch 5th place man, that is Ben Robertson. But challenging these two is Billy Seabold, who's making his presence felt. He passed Peter Inwood and coming up now to take Ben Robertson for yet another place. Seabold goes through. He'll take 5th place, soon to become 4th place. And someone has collected the marker buoy, and there's no marker buoy around the Colonial Hotel here. So there's no way that these racers in this fading light can tell where they're going to go. And I reckon the course is going to get shorter and shorter. In fact, they're moving dangerously close now to the rescue boats. Through comes Huddle, that looks like Inwood, and they're all going through here. That's Ian Backey also going through. There's Mark Wilson. They surely will have to stop this race because there's the red flags. There are no buoys up here whatsoever. So the unofficial race winner, 2:01, Ken Stevenson, but unfortunately this race only lasted for 9 laps, so under the NPA rules it will not be classified as a race, and all of the prize money will be distributed very fairly amongst all 29 starters. The unofficial winner then of the Champ Boat race, Ken Stevenson. Before we take our leave of Nassau Harbour here in the sunset, we ask Nick Cripps what exactly went into the making of the 1982 Bahamas Grand Prix.
Well, it's taken about 13 months to do. The Ministry of Tourism have helped tremendously. The Rotary clubs of Nassau are getting things up together, and Bacardi Rum obviously sponsoring the event for $40,000. It's taken myself 13 months to get together, And I think at this present stage I should be very glad when it's over.
Is this the sort of exciting racing you think that the Bahamians and the many tourists who come here want to see?
I think by the crowds alone, the Bahamians love this kind of a sport. They're really enjoying what is happening, and I think you can see by the spectators around that this is something that is here to stay, and the race will continue next year as well.
As Ken Stevenson goes up to receive his awards for winning the 1982 Bahamas Grand Prix Transatlantic Champion of Champions, the final words come from the Honourable Perry Christie.
So I see this as a very great thing, and I really have to commend Nicholas Cribbs, who walked into my office as Minister of Tourism some months ago and said, would you help us? And of course, being an old ex-athlete myself, I jumped for the opportunity. And we're seeing the results here today. People like yourselves, who hopefully will show this around the world. And I believe when people see it, they would want to come in too, if not to see this event, to see why we say it's so beautiful and why we believe it's better in the Bahamas.
Well, coming up this Saturday and Sunday, TV3 News will have live coverage of the powerboat races down on the Tennessee River. And right now, Jim Thrasher is taking a close look at a boat similar to those which will be roaring down the river. Jim?
Fred, this is about as close as I want to get with the motor off on one of these. We thought you and everyone else would like to have a look at the exact example of the boats that are going to be down at the Riverbend Festival for the Bahamas Grand Prix Formula One powerboat race. This is a tunnel boat.